Hey,
Hey
hello.
everyone, welcome to our page, Nayte and Sade.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for stopping by and checking it out. This video, we just wanted to talk a little bit about us and kind of share our story on how we met and what kind of drew us to each other and jump started this amazing journey that we are on called marriage.
Okay.
So you want to start off, baby?
No, you start off. You start off. We'll switch it up.
Okay. Well, yeah, because he usually does start first. So Nate and I worked together. We met each other at work. At the time, he was technically my supervisor.
I wasn't your supervisor.
He was
I
over.
was a supervisor in the department.
Yes. Okay.
Because
So he
HR
wasn't.
said if I was over you and your direct supervisor, then we couldn't.
But that came later on. But at the time when we met, I'm just saying when we met, not when we started dating.
I was a supervisor in charge of the training class.
Yes.
But I knew that I wouldn't be getting all of the people that were in the training class.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was in charge of this training class that I was in for this new position with the healthcare company. And it's funny because when I first started, that first day, I remember seeing him and I was like, he kind of fine, but I didn't really know like who he was. So I was like, is he gonna be like my boss or something? If he's gonna be my boss, then like, nah, I'm not interested. But he piqued my interest a little bit as far as what I saw at first. I was like, he kind of cute. And at the time, he had like little curls, kind of like how your hair is now. It was long, but he had like.
I know with my hat, so y'all don't see my hair.
Yeah, he has like really pretty curls, and I was like.
You don't say pretty.
Not pretty, but I don't know how you would say it.
Well, yeah, y'all don't see my hair is curly.
Yes.
My mom says it's thick, but I have my hat, so you can't tell. But it's kind of curly.
That nice hair, and I was like, okay. And so he introduced himself as the supervisor in charge of that training class, and kind of just shared his story. And I was like, oh, okay, he is the supervisor for this class, so yeah, I'm not gonna be. I don't do bosses and supervisors and all that stuff. But one of the first things that I did notice is just how well he spoke and like how much he had accomplished in his life as far as sports and his career and education wise. And I just thought he spoke so well, like. I could see this person like doing this, on a regular basis, or I could see him really being in a vicinity where he's speaking to large groups because he just spoke so well. And that was one of the first things that I noticed about him. And so we just kind of just really had like a work friendship, nothing more at that time because he was just kind of coming out of something. And like I said, I found out that he was in charge of that class. I didn't know if he was going to be my personal direct supervisor or not, but I was like, I'll just admire him from afar. And so then you can kind of talk about how that happened next. Like what kind of...
I would say our first like general interaction, because I didn't mess with them at all. I would pop in and pop out. I would make sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I had a buddy, one of my good friends at the time, Matt. He moved, and his office was right outside. He was in charge of the training class. He did charge the training class.
He did.
And so he would give them something to do, and we sit outside and just chop it up, right outside the classroom and hang out. So I really didn't talk to them that much. It was only, 32 of y'all? So I knew our first interaction was one-on-one was I pulled each one of them aside and I told them to have some of their goals for the company down and where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do. And so in our interaction, we talked about music, we talked about God, we talked about a little bit about what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go. And so...
And this interaction, let me just say this, was only supposed to be like, 15, 20 minutes long. It was just supposed to be kind of just an introduction.
It could have been like 30 minutes. I wanted them to be like 10 or 15 minutes because I didn't want to sit there talking to everybody.
Right. But it was supposed to be kept, pretty short. Just like introducing yourself, him introducing himself to us, and just real quick exchange. And ours ended up being like an hour and a half we were in there. It was long. I remember how long it was. It was
45 minutes to an hour.
Nah, it was like an hour to an hour and a half. Like, we were just talking about everything.
Yeah, we did talk about everything. Our family,
music, life experiences. Like,
we have a lot in common, but I also have a lot in common with our family. Her dad played basketball, still loves basketball. Her brother plays basketball, loves basketball. So it's kind of like everything that someone laid out on the table, we had stuff in common with. So
yeah, and I think at that moment I was like, wow, he's like a super cool person. Like, I didn't know if it would, anything else would become of like that, but I just thought he was super cool. And I remember just telling him like he needed to get connected in like the music scene, because found out that he was a drummer. And I was like, well, do you ever go to these shows? Have you ever heard this person? And I talked to him about my church, and asked him if he had ever visited it. And so I was just like, he's just super cool to just be friends with. Like, he's a really dope person. And so I would invite him out to like little gigs that I knew people were having, and really try to get him to just get connected in the Nashville music scene. And he like never showed up. He never came to any.
I never showed up because at the time I was dating somebody at the time, and I told her that.
Right.
And she knew that, but she wasn't trying to get me to go in the dating capacity.
Yeah, I was like, you
could
bring her
friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just, at that time, we weren't really in at that good place, so I didn't want to bring her, and then I didn't want to go by myself, from an invite from a woman, to go to. So I was like, nah, I appreciate the invite. So she stopped inviting me.
I did. I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna tell you.
And she was like, and she told me, I ain't gonna tell you now. I was like, okay, that's fine. Because I was, like, that's what, she'll tell you I'm not one to not chase people, but I'm not with you. You do what you do, So she was like, I'm not gonna invite you anymore. I was like, cool, and I don't think you did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how. Well, I had his number because of trying to invite him to go places and stuff like that. We had each other's number for that, but then I think you ended that situation, and then we started texting and kind of just like,
No, we didn't text first. We
yeah, we did.
It was on the little instant message thing.
Oh, well, no, for a while. Remember, it was through text. Like,
no,
it
because
was
remember
text
we'd be
first.
at work, and so
yeah, but I would still have my phone. Either way, we started talking on like there was a work little instant messenger thing. We started talking on there, but we were having a lot of dialogue via text as well, because we didn't want everything to kind of be like on work, stuff. So we were texting. And you had invited me to come out. Oh, I think something like you went to a cigar bar, and he was like, oh yeah, I go there. And I was like, oh well, smoke a cohiba for me or something. And he was like, well, next time I go, you can just come and smoke one. And it was kind of like an invite, but like real informal. It wasn't like I'm asking you out. It was like, hey, I'll be here if you want to come through and like kick it. You can. So I was kind of like, okay. And he never really gave me any signs that he was interested in me. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go through, come through, and it'll just be on some, friend type stuff. Because I honestly thought he was a cool person. So regardless of if it went to, a romantic, level or not, I just was like, he's cool people. Like, I could really talk to him. Because throughout that time when we were texting, it was just about life. Like, it was about everything. We talked about everything. And I was just thinking, he is just so laid back and so easy to talk to. So when he had asked me to come through, it was on some real nonchalant, hey, I'll be here. If you want to come through, I'll be there. Just let me know. It wasn't even like I'm trying to, holla at you. So I wasn't even going to go on the outing or date or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't going to go at all, because I was like, it's Nate. Like, and I don't even know if this dude is feeling me like that, and I never did cigars, never been to a cigar bar. So I wasn't even really going to go. And, my friend at the time was like, well, just go, you already know he's like a cool person to kick it with. So if nothing else, you could have a good time. And so, I think it was like, you probably, you didn't even think I was going to show up, right?
I think you said you weren't going to come or something.
Yeah, or like I didn't know. Yeah.
And so I told you, like, well, I'm already here, so
yeah. So like,
whether
I'm
you
here
coming out,
regardless.
I'm here regardless. So whether you
Right.
coming out, I'm here. And I'm
Right.
having a good time, you know. And I
Yeah.
don't know if she felt some kind of way about that. It was like, I'll show him or something.
Yeah,
but-
because I think he was really kind of like, well, whatever. Like, he wasn't really sweating me, and I was kind of like, or he wasn't pressing me to like show up, or like, man, I really want you. And so it kind of made me be like, well, yeah, I am gonna go, you know. So I ended up showing up, and just we had a great time. Like, that was our first time ever really, well, our first time ever hanging out outside of work. And you know, I just got to see him, you know, in his natural environment, you know, just really just on some chill stuff. And we laughed like crazy that night. We talked about everything. We talked about our families. We talked about just our upbringing, our interests, you know, music. We talked just on a different level. I mean, we were just, it was like my best friend, and he felt like somebody I knew for so long. He did not feel like a stranger. You know, like, he really felt like somebody I've known all these years. And so when we found out, you know, all the interests that we had and the similarities as far as our families and stuff, it was a great night. I remember sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm so glad I came to this. I did not think I was going to have this much fun. And so
It was fun.
You want to talk about it anymore?
So after the cigar place, we went to Jimmy's. Went to my homie Jimmy's house. And we played spades. And that was fun.
We killed them. We were partners, and we murdered them in it because we're beasts at spades. If anybody ever wants to challenge us, we are.
Yeah, we lost once during my mom and dad.
Yeah, we're pretty cold when it comes to spades. Spades is not a game. It's serious.
It's a game, but you can take it serious. But it's a game. But I mean, I'm serious. I'm pretty good. She's a big talker, even though she is good. But her bark's definitely louder than her bite. But anyway, it was fun. We won, and it was late. We hung out late. It was a weekend.
And honestly, after that, like, we pretty much have been inseparable. Like,
that was the beginning, yeah. And then I think after that, we I think it was the next. We went putt-putt. We did Busters.
Dating, and
dating.
We just began
intentionally, you know, because I mean, we did have a conversation even before we started dating, because we talked so much that there's really not much you can't talk about, you know, when you talk as much as we did. Yeah. So by the time we actually started dating on, you know, with the purpose, like dating, like I knew where she wanted stuff to go. She knew where I wanted stuff to go, and I remember having a conversation about an engagement. She was like, do you want a long engagement? I was like, no, I'm in my 30s. Like, if I was to ever make that move, it would be very intentional, and I don't see the point in having a long engagement. That's just me. You know, some people like that. I was like, if I know I'm going to marry you, and I'm asking you to marry you, why do I need to wait a year and some change? You know, and she felt the same. So that was one of the things, like, people ask us why the turnaround. I think I proposed on her birthday, January 15th. And I'm just joking, I know. I just want to see if you're going to say something.
I'm like, sir.
January 12th. It's like all over the house, January 12th. 1/12, yeah. So that's when I proposed, and we got married in May. We were originally trying to go for May 14th, and my dad loved that. He was like, I knew I liked her. Okay, that's his birthday. But we had to push it because it was my sister's graduation, so we pushed it to May 28th. But a lot of people were asking me why that time frame so quick, and I'm like, really, it didn't seem like it was so quick, because a lot of that time before we even started dating was to get to know this person. So a lot of people date someone to get to know them, to find out if they can marry them. You know, I knew her well enough, you know, before we even started dating. So by the time we started dating, we could intentionally move into where we wanted to go and move with the purpose. So I think, we did that. We went kayak canoeing.
Yeah. And I will say, like, one thing that made Nate stand apart from other dudes that I had talked to previously was that he was very intentional. I never had to worry about how he felt about me, or, you know, what are we doing? Are we dating? Are we just kicking it? Are we talking? Like, there was no confusion as to what he wanted and what we were doing. And for me, that made him stand out, like, out of everyone else. Because in the past, you know, you could be hanging out with somebody and you're like, okay, so are we like official? Or, you know, and there was just never any of that. I never had to worry about how he felt about me or his intentions. He made them very clear in every step, you know, and that's one thing that I love about him. You know, I've always felt very secure in how he felt about me, and even now how he feels. I never have to worry about that. And so that was a breath of fresh air, because he wasn't about the games. He wasn't about leading me on. And he actually had a conversation with me and was like, hey, I need to know, where do I stand in your life? You know, because I know you have friends and things like that, but I want to make sure I'm not like everybody else. And that was like, wow. I was just telling someone about that today. You know, I used to be the one that had those conversations in past relationships, you know, but the fact that he was like, look, you know, I'm not about the games, and like, if you're talking to other people, then like, that's cool. You know, yeah. I need to know what we're doing. And so I was like, wow, this dude is he's like one of a kind. He's a rare breed, because that's not something that you see, especially in our generation now. You don't see that. You see a lot of people, you know, playing games and just kicking it just for the sake of kicking it. And, you know, I wanted someone that was going to date me, you know, with a purpose. And he wanted the same thing. And so for me, that was kind of like the aha moment where I was like, okay, this is going to be different. This is not like anyone else that I've ever, you know, dated or talked to or anything like it. That this is going to be the one. Like, I really felt like that. You know, and so I'm just thankful. And so that's just a brief, you know, summary of our story and just how we kind of came to be. And
yeah, we went through enough. You know, we went through a lot. We had more good times than not, but we definitely went through a period of time where, like she said, brief. We can go over that some other time. But we went through a period of time where people, you know, trying to get us fired, trying to, you know, get into our business. And one thing I learned about, especially working where we work and working with the type of people that we were working with, is people hate it when you don't let them all up in your business, and when you don't let them know every move that you make and everything that you do, so that they can tell you, hey, you need to do this, you should do that, if I was you, this and that. People hate it when you don't allow them that type of access to your life. And we were seeing that firsthand, because we weren't giving anybody any access to your life, because you have no say-so in what's going on in this area of my life. And I'm not gonna, you know, just like people can speak blessings and stuff over your life, people can actually speak negatively and curses and stuff over your life by what they say. And so we weren't giving anybody any ammo. And we weren't trying to be secretive or anything like that. We called our HR department. But as far as people, ain't none of your business, you know, and they didn't like that at all. And so we were under attack in there.
We were, but it made us stronger. It made us like really connected, and we, you know, held each other up, because there were times that
we laughed.
You know,
we laughed. We got frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, I spent many hours on the phone with HR and human capital, even though, I mean, well, not with HR, but with people that didn't know that we're not stupid, and we started a relationship in the office place without consulting with HR first.
Yeah. We covered our backs. We definitely did. We wanted to do things decently and in order.
Right.
We didn't want to be out of order in any way.
Because I remember her saying, like, what if HR says, you know,
we can't
no, and I was like, well, then we can't do it. You know, because I'm not in a
and
position to leave my job, you know, neither are you. I said so.
And we were very professional at work. I mean, there were times like we wouldn't even really give each other eye contact, because we understood we're at work. This is not the time to be booed up and, you know, in each other's faces like that. So, you know. We probably,
because then the HR did say we could have gotten some trouble.
Yeah, of course, because that's not
people
appropriate.
Like if you saw the cameras, you would probably say something's got to be going on right there, because the way they're not even talking to each other.
Yeah, we wouldn't even acknowledge.
If you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't even know that, hey, I don't even know if they know each other. Because, like, she'd walk by, get coffee, good morning.
Yeah, we kept it very professional, as, you know, we wanted to, because it's a time and a place for everything. And like I said, we wanted to do things decently and in order. So, and I believe we did, and God blessed that, and he blessed us, and is continuing to bless us. So we just wanted to share a little bit with you guys of our story and just the beginning phase of our journey. And so we hope you guys enjoyed it. Look forward to some more videos to come, and dive into a little deeper into Nayte and Sade's world. And so thank you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.